You were saying?
It's in the cupboard. No, the one by your knees.
Hey friends, strangers, and film aficionados alike. It's Niyat here with Film Comics Explained, and today we're going to do something different and try and piece together one of cinema's greatest mysteries. What is in the briefcase that Jules and Vincent are sent to recover in the genre-bending 1994 crime film, Pulp Fiction, which was written and directed by Quentin Tarantino. Much like Tarantino's other films, which are laced with gratuitous violence, non-linear storylines, pop culture references, and incredible ensemble casts, Pulp Fiction is no different. The story follows multiple characters across three main interrelated stories, setting up three different protagonists for each of its three acts. Vincent is the protagonist of the first story, followed by Butch Coolidge, before the mantle is handed to Jules in the final act. All three protagonists have one character that connects them all: Marcellus Wallace, a notorious figure in the criminal underbelly of Los Angeles. Butch has been requested to throw a fight by Marcellus, while Vincent and Jules, two of the most ruthless contract killers, have been hired to retrieve a briefcase of special importance to Marcellus Wallace. So my friends, what's in the briefcase? Is it gold, diamonds, yellow cake uranium, or is it a MacGuffin, which is a plot device that moves the story forward without any real explanation? Well, Tarantino has himself stated that there was no explanation for the contents of the briefcase, and when Samuel L. Jackson asked him what was inside, or what the briefcase was supposed to represent, he simply replied, "Whatever you want it to represent." Now, does this mean that Tarantino is a lazy writer who put no thought into what was in the briefcase? No, far from it. Quentin puts a lot of thought into every detail that we see to help create some of the most incredible narrative-based films of late. The reason he left the contents of the briefcase ambiguous was to enable everyone associated with the briefcase to have a different relationship and attachment to it. Before we get into what I think is in the briefcase, let's go over some of the possible theories that have surfaced over the years. Gold. It's been suggested that the briefcase was filled with gold that Marcellus would use to clean his dirty crime money. This is possible and would explain the yellowish glow that emanates from the briefcase, but if we take into consideration that the standard gold bar that is traded by central banks weighs about 12.4 kilos, and that we could fit at least 24 bars into the briefcase, that would mean that the briefcase weighed about 297 kilos.
Because of the metric system?
Or 654 pounds, which I think is highly unlikely due to the ease with which the briefcase is carried. Diamonds. This has also been suggested as an explanation for why the briefcase was both light and valuable, and the yellow glow could be explained by a yellow lining that covers the interior of the briefcase on which the diamonds have been placed. This suggestion was however dismissed by Tarantino, who had just used the same idea in Reservoir Dogs 2 years prior. Yellow cake uranium.
I got some yellow cake right here. Look, you see, you believe this shit now?
Don't drop that shit.
You know I know what to do with it. Got it wrapped up in this special CIA napkin.
Don't drop that shit there.
Now before you dismiss this idea, I must point out that Tarantino is a lover of film noir, and has mentioned that one of his favourite films was the 1950s Kiss Me Deadly, which features a private eye who is looking for a mysterious box that is later found to have radioactive materials inside it. Many of you might be saying, well, Niyat, you're crazy. Isn't uranium radioactive? Well, this is true, but uranium found in yellow cake actually has a very low radioactivity with an extremely long half-life of over 4 billion years, meaning that the radiation is slowly being emitted across this time. This would make it reasonable for people to be in close proximity to it without falling ill. This leads me onto my final theory, and what I truly believe is in the briefcase, which is that the briefcase is carrying Marcellus Wallace's soul. Yes, that's right. Marcellus had sold his soul to the devil to reach notoriety and riches beyond his dreams, and had hired Vincent and Jules to retrieve it. All those biblical references are not there without a reason. Let's go over some of the things that we see in the film that would help support this. For starters, when Vincent first opens the briefcase, the code which he enters to unlock it is 666, which is the devil's number, or the number of the beast as it's known in the New Testament. There's also been some speculation about the devil taking people's soul from the back of the head, as an explanation for why Marcellus's band-aid scar was on his head. But there is no support for this in the Bible, and the band-aid has been attributed to a scar that actor Ving Rhames had and wanted to cover up during filming. Either way, when Jules and Vincent are in the apartment in the beginning of the film, the three young men that they recover the briefcase from are actually demons working on behalf of the devil. When the two contract killers enter the apartment, the three young men are in partial darkness, while Jules is lit up like an angel with a halo.
The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the iniquities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men. And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to poison and destroy my brothers.
Both Jules and Vincent are in essence emissaries of God, here to recover his soul, and sent to pass judgment by laying down his wrath, Old Testament style. This would also go to explain why when the fourth demon came out of the closet to shoot them, he had missed all shots from point blank range, while both Jules and Vincent are once again standing under the Lord's light, with their heads glowing like halos.
I know we was lucky.
No. That shit wasn't love. This was divine intervention.
These sequence of events are so palpable that Jules immediately accepts it as an act of God, which leads him to follow the light, as he inevitably decides to quit the business in favor of a more peaceful life. He is so moved by what had happened and his new perspective on life that he tells the couple at the end of the movie who attempt to rob him that he wants to help them. He goes so far as to give them all the money that was in his wallet, a whopping $1,500. Jules even tells him that he isn't just giving them the money, but was actually buying their life, and in essence their souls, so he doesn't have to kill them. Now that is a massive transformation within a few hours for a person who kills without remorse, and the recovery of Marcellus Wallace's soul was the stimulus for the change of heart.
Normally, both your asses would be dead as fried chicken. But you happen to pull this shit while I'm in a transitional period, and I don't want to kill you. I want to help you. But I can't give you this case.
Well, that's my thoughts on what was the contents of the briefcase. I'm really curious to hear what your thoughts are and what you believe to be in the briefcase. Do you agree with me, or do you have some of your own theories? So please share those in the comments below. And if there's any other content you'd like me to check out, please don't hesitate to ask. As always, it's been a pleasure. Niyat here with Film Comics Explained. Thanks for stopping by.
This was divine intervention. You know what divine intervention is?
I think so. That means that God came down from heaven and stopped the bullets?
That's right. That's exactly what it means.